There is a footprint on another world that has not been touched in more than 50 years. In 1969, humanity left Earth for the first time and stepped onto the moon. It was supposed to be the beginning. Instead, it became a memory. For half a century, no human has walked on the lunar surface. No human has stood beneath that black sky, looking back at Earth. But now everything is changing. Because we are going back. Not just to visit. Not just to prove we can. This time, we are going to stay. This is the story of humanity's greatest journey, from Apollo 11 to Apollo 17, to the mission that will define the future of our species, Artemis. And this time, the moon is not the destination, it's the beginning. To understand why we went to the moon, you have to understand fear. After World War II, the world split into two superpowers, the United States, the Soviet Union. Both had nuclear weapons, both had rockets capable of crossing continents, and both believed whoever controlled space would control the future. Then in 1957, everything changed. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik, a metal sphere, no bigger than a beach ball, orbiting above Earth. Beep, beep, beep. That sound echoed around the world because it meant something terrifying. If they could launch a satellite, they could launch a nuclear weapon. America was behind, and suddenly space became the ultimate high ground. NASA was born out of urgency. But what followed was not just science, it was a race. And races have finish lines. For this race, the finish line was the moon. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy made a promise, not to America, to history. We choose to go to the moon. At that moment, NASA had barely sent a human into orbit. The moon was 238,000 miles away. The technology didn't exist. The computers didn't exist. The experience didn't exist. But the deadline did. Before the decade ended, the Saturn V rocket would become humanity's ladder to the moon. It was taller than the Statue of Liberty, more powerful than anything ever built. When it launched, it shook the ground miles away. But the rocket was only part of the challenge. Astronauts would need to survive vacuum, radiation, extreme temperature swings, isolation, mechanical failure. Space was not empty, it was hostile, and every mission risked lives. July 16, 1969. The Saturn V ignited. 3 men wrote a controlled explosion into history. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins. The journey took 3 days. Inside the spacecraft, there was no room for mistakes. Then came the most dangerous part, landing. The lunar module computer began flashing alarms. Too much data, system overload. Abort was seconds away, but mission control made a decision. Continue. Armstrong looked out the window. The landing site was wrong. Huge boulders, crater edges. He took manual control. Fuel 30 seconds remaining. 20 seconds. Dust filled the window. Then contact light. Silence. Then the words, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." 600 million people watched. Then, Neil Armstrong stepped onto the moon, and humanity became something new. A species that could leave its homeworld. Apollo 13 was supposed to be routine. But, it became survival. "Houston, we've had a problem." An oxygen tank exploded. Power was failing. The air was turning toxic. Temperatures were dropping. And they were 200,000 miles from Earth. Rescue was, well, impossible. So, NASA did something extraordinary. They turned engineers into inventors. They solved problems in real time, with tape, plastic, filters, and hope. Against all odds, Apollo 13 came home. And humanity learned space is unforgiving. By Apollo 15, astronauts became explorers. They drove across the moon, collected deep geological samples, studied lunar history, and then came the final mission. Apollo 17, December 1972, Commander Gene Cernan stepped off the moon. Before leaving, he said, "We leave as we came, and, God willing, we shall return." But we didn't. Not for 50 years. The space race ended, the political reason to go disappeared, and going to the moon was expensive. NASA shifted focus. Space shuttle, space stations, Earth orbit science. The moon became history, but history doesn't stay buried. Now, the world is racing again. China, private companies, new global powers. Everyone's in this. The moon is no longer just symbolic, it's strategic. Water ice exists at the poles, and well, that means oxygen, fuel, and honestly, even permanent bases. The moon is becoming, the gateway to Mars. Artemis is not Apollo reborn, it is something bigger. Artemis will return humans to the moon, land 4 astronauts on the moon, build a lunar space station, and test Mars mission technology. But most importantly, Artemis is about permanence. This time, we are not planting flags, we are building the future. Moon bases, lunar mining, deep space launch platforms. The moon becomes humanity's first step toward becoming multiplanetary. One day children will learn about Earth the way we learned about continents, as places we came from. Apollo proved we could leave Earth, Artemis will prove we can live beyond it, and someday humans will stand on Mars, not as visitors, but as residents of the universe. If you believe humanity's future is in the stars, subscribe to Life and Nature Matters because the next giant leap is already beginning.